Now to Richmond, Virginia, and Hillary Clinton's running mate, Senator Tim Kaine. Senator, I want to start on the debate question. Some of Hillary Clinton's supporters say there is a different standard for Hillary Clinton. What is that different standard in the debate?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm hoping there isn't a different standard in the debate, John. I think there's been some worry that maybe up to now there's been different standards applied, but that's the great thing about the debate. I think there's three critical points. First, the candidates get grilled on specifics. Hillary has been very specific about policy plans. We have a book out describing them. Donald Trump less so, but tomorrow is an opportunity to see whether Donald will be specific about what he proposes to do. Second, unanswered questions. The voters have questions. Donald Trump hasn't released his tax returns. News of this past week shows a whole series of very serious questions about Donald Trump's ties to Russia. And finally, there's been news recently about very questionable, even illegal payments by the Trump Foundation. I think these unanswered questions are going to be on voters' minds. And then finally, there's the issue of truthfulness. PolitiFact has been tracking Donald Trump's claims on the campaign trail. Thus far, about 70% of the things they check turn out to be false. And so that's an interesting point about the debate tomorrow night, too. In a 90-minute format, not 20-second sound bites, there's a real opportunity to hear somebody say something and then get into, is that actually true or not? So I think the debate issue, we obviously let it be an even standard for both, but that issue about specifics, answering those unanswered questions, and checking people on truthfulness, that's going to be very important.
I noticed the campaign put out a list already of 18 or so questions or falsehoods about Donald Trump they put out. So that's about Donald Trump, but will Hillary Clinton, everything she says in the campaign, that'll be true in the debate, everything she says will be truthful?
I think that's fair game. Look, it's fair game for both candidates to be challenged either on things that they've said or things that they say tomorrow night. And again, I think the great virtue of these debates is you get 90 minutes to look at people and really see whether there's depth, whether there's substance, and whether there's candor and truthfulness in what they say.
Any advice you've given Hillary Clinton before the debate?
We've talked a little bit about the debates, both of our debates, but more in the area of kind of tone and style and how to effectively make your positive case even while parrying what the other guy throws at you. What I expect to see her do tomorrow is certainly defend herself from what Trump may say, but at the end of the day, paint this positive vision that really is what's animating her to run for president.
Hillary Clinton wondered why she wasn't 50 points ahead this week. Why isn't she ahead by more?
Well, look, we're a closely divided nation, and I've run all my races in Virginia. And to me, this seems like every race I've ever been in. This is a state that has traditionally been a very close state. Actually, that we're even close at all in Virginia is kind of new to us. And the poll that you reported this morning about the Virginia result is real positive. But I encouraged Hillary to run for president in April of 2014, and I told her, don't believe any poll. You're trying to do something that's never been done. You're the underdog till they call you the winner. So I think this thing's going to be close right up to the end. We got to make our case every day. The debates are a great way to do that.
You mentioned Virginia. The first African-American governor of Virginia, Doug Wilder, who supported your campaign as governor, reportedly told you this: let's assume Trump is the worst guy in the world. Fine. What makes you better? Because you're not considered the worst, but you're right next to it. What's your response to that?
Mm-hmm. Again, we've got to make our case, but there's a reason that we're doing well in Virginia right now, because I think voters have looked at us and have decided that they really embrace our message. There's three pillars to the campaign, all under the Stronger Together banner: an economy that works for everybody, not just for a few. And I think people embrace that over a dog-eat-dog or winner-take-all economy. We got to be safe in this world, but safety depends on building alliances, not shredding them. That's a huge difference between Hillary and Donald Trump. And finally, and this is really important, you got to build a community of respect. The disrespectful language that Donald Trump uses about racial minorities, accusing the president of not being a United States citizen, immigrants, women, people who worship as Muslims. That's not who we are in Virginia, and I actually don't think those are the values of the American electorate.
Governor, in terms of the pitch you have to make to voters, I mean, I come up with it again and again in talking to voters. They keep coming back to this trust issue. You mentioned it with respect to the debate. This is a key liability of Hillary Clinton's. What can you tell, not about a choice, but in terms of somebody who wants to be president, what can you tell voters other than trust us that Hillary Clinton's going to do to increase transparency and openness were she to become president?
Well, here's what I say. Hillary has a long track record of service in public life, and you can look at that. I tell the story about her being First Lady of the United States when the effort to get health care done failed, and that was a tough, bitter loss, but then it tested her as a leader, and she worked together with Democrats and Republicans to get health insurance for 8 million low-income American children in the CHIP program. The measure of character in somebody in public life, I think, is whether they have a passion for somebody other than themselves, and whether they keep after that passion, whether they're winning or losing. Hillary has demonstrated that again and again. And I think that's a sharp contrast to a Donald Trump whose only recognized passion in his life has been for himself. No great president of this country has been primarily a me-first person. The great presidents are people who watch out for others, and that's who Hillary Clinton has been, that's who she is, and that's who she'll be.
All right, Senator Kaine, we're going to have to leave it there. Thanks so much for being with us.
Absolutely. Good to be back.